Okay, there it is. It says live, little red thing.
Hold on. It says it's setting up. Hold on, because I can't see you yet. Yay, cool. Is it? Oh my God, it's 12 on the dot. We are on time. Hello, Soul Sisters.
Worldwide. I'm in front of my fire today.
I love this backdrop for you. That's so nice. I have this weird, crazy horse head coming out of my side of my head.
Your stuff always looks nice. Like even your videos, like your workout videos look so much nicer than mine. It's like all nice colors, and I'm like in the basement.
It's Jen, it's the contrast. That's what people like about us. And it's funny because like I literally look into the like what people can see and I just shove everything out of like the camera angle. Like there's like a random stuff. I just like move it over till it's out of the shot.
So much of my life is just, you should have seen me making videos for do-it-yourself dumbbells. It was like, oh, I need another book and another book, another book.
Yeah, my yoga blocks are coming in like super handy with just like
not
yoga, just like positioning my filming apparatus, which is sometimes my computer, sometimes my iPad, sometimes my phone. Anyways,
there's a lot of time spent doing all of that. I videoed for like an hour yesterday.
That's good. I know, super productive. I really like the backdrop of your garage door.
Yeah, I like that.
I think that looks really cool. We should do like some photo shoots out there.
Yeah.
When we're allowed to see each other again. Oh my God. So
all right. So yes, topic A, we wanted to talk about struggles, things that people were struggling with. And we ended up asking around, and a lot of people talked about like some positives that are happening instead of their struggles, which is an awesome testament to our community that we go to the positive instead of the negative. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people were saying that the slower pace has enabled them to actually be more mindful when it comes to stress eating and actually not being exposed to some of the crappy foods that you have at the office that you might otherwise have trouble saying no to. So if you keep the sugar and the junk food out of your house, you're not going to eat it. It's mind-blowing.
Thank you, Jen. Well, that's why we get paid the big bucks.
Nice drop. That's it.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
The guy that runs Precision Nutrition, John Berardi, he's kind of like a big deal in the fitness, in the nutrition space. He just like one of his rules is if there's food in the house, somebody's gonna eat it. So just don't have it.
Yes, I did finally throw away the canned frosting I had bought for decorating Sunny's birthday cake.
Oh, nice.
I was like, I'm just gonna throw this out now, like, because it's exactly that. I'm like, I should save it. I'm like, why? Just get rid of it. Like, this is not serving you.
Some frosting right out of the container.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I did love seeing everybody's responses and like even giving people like an opportunity to kind of like complain. Like most people, were very positive. And not to say like, if people did post things they're struggling, I'm not saying that's complaining, but it was just interesting to see that people's responses. I was psyched to see it because I am feeling similarly where now that I am home, just being able to really just eat when I'm actually hungry and make all my own food and not have the opportunity of like swinging by the gas station for like a coffee at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock and like, might as well get like this like granola bar, or whatever, Pop-Tarts. Yeah. Love Pop-Tarts.
Yeah.
For me, I have found just a lot more organization around my food intake, a lot more feeling like just that I'm eating when I'm hungry and feeling like I have a food scarcity mindset. So a lot of times my overeating would come from like, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to eat for 4 hours because I have clients. So I would like overeat beforehand. And now I don't have that. I'm like, oh, okay, I know the kitchen's right there. I can go and grab something whenever I need it. So that's been really helpful to me. How have you been feeling, Jen, about that?
So in that respect, I buy foods that I would normally buy on like little trips out, like a bag of potato chips or something. So now like they're kind of part of my regular grocery shopping, which is weird because I wouldn't normally do that. I would get a bag of chips at like the grocery store. I mean, at like the gas something. And like
the liquor store next to Snap, you mean?
No bag of those Cape Cod kettle chips or whatever. Yeah.
They cut my mouth. They're so hard.
I know, but I love them. Or like the frozen pizzas. So that would be like a treat day thing. So that stuff's always in the house. So I think that does create more of a less of the scarcity mindset because it's there. I could have it at any time. So I'd say more frequently throughout the week I'm having stuff like that, but it's not to the point of like overstuffing myself.
Yeah, so that's really interesting.
And then there's more sugar being consumed for sure. Like last week I bought little York peppermint patties, like a whole bag of those. That's something I wouldn't normally do. A little bit of ice cream. I asked my mom to send me cookies, and I got a giant bag of cookies. And so I divided it into small Ziploc bags and put them in the freezer.
Yeah.
So there's like 5 or 6 cookies available at a time, and I pulled them out. So
that's awesome.
Diet is not super great, and I do feel like I've put on a little bit of weight. But as I told you, I also just don't feel ready to deal with it right now.
Yeah, those things come in waves, as we've talked about. It's like sometimes I always feel like, I love my visual metaphors, but it's like I always think of it as like, we're living in this house, like our own castle. And like sometimes you walk by a window and it's closed, it's closed, it's closed, it's closed. And then one day you walk by and it's like open, and you're like, oh, I'm ready to now look out and see what's out there, right? It's like, that's kind of how I see it as well. Like there are just times in life where you're like, this is just how it is. And like, I'm not like in a place to look at it, deal with it. And it's obviously not a big enough deal that you feel as though it needs to be addressed anyway.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. There's no shortage of activity at the moment. Lots of activity, lots of working out.
Yeah, totally.
But
so when you talked about the nutrition stuff a little bit, because one of the things that we did hear from people was people who are trying to really grocery shop only like once every 2 weeks and then finding it hard to like organize meals. And why don't you speak to that?
So I would say like food prep probably has to change, and maybe instead of having like these set recipes that you want to cook, it might be easier to just think in terms of your macronutrients. So those are your carbs, fats, and proteins, and just think about making sure that you have a wide array of those things. So when you go to the grocery store, maybe you intended to get chicken thighs, but there's only a whole chicken there. Which I actually heard may happen more often because like we're losing people that work in like meat processing plants and stuff. They're getting sick. So they may stop like deboning the chicken and offering as many chicken breasts and thighs and stuff like that. So we just kind of have to be ready for some of that stuff to not be available. So just be like, I need to pick up so many kinds of protein and just be flexible of what they are. And then the vegetables, like, like I was saying, by the end of 2 weeks, there's not a lot of fresh veggies left. I bought some beets because I knew they would last, spaghetti squash, butternut squash, just some fresh stuff like broccoli that I really like to have. And I know that's going to be gone in the first week. And then I can go to the like starchier veggies that hold on for longer. And then frozen vegetables are okay. And those have been pretty available. So keeping those on hand. And then some starches. Potatoes are good because they last a long time. Rice is good. So instead of having like maybe more elaborate plans for your food, just buying it like that and then mixing it together how you feel like on that day.
Yeah, I know personally, like protein is always the hardest thing to get into my meals. And I know it sounds ridiculous. So that's why I always buy hot dogs. I don't have any hot dogs in the house right now. I will have but I do buy a lot of like chicken sausages and things like that because it's just such an easy thing to like, I can like microwave a chicken sausage and dip it in mustard and eat it. And I'm like, it's delicious, you know, but I do find like there's always plenty of starch and carbs, but getting the vegetables and the protein in as well is definitely challenging. And I'm glad to know I'm not alone in that.
I mean, I always use ground meat because it cooks so quickly. Like I can sear it in a pan in like 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And I can add it to my macaroni and cheese that I love so much. So I'm a big proponent of that because I haven't really felt like prepping food very much. I'm just not in that mode. So that's been helpful. Frozen veggies. I always get like a giant thing of spinach because I can always really quickly saute spinach. So anything that's fast.
I've been into smoothies right now too, because, and that we use all, I mean, we do have bananas, right now, but, besides that, it's all frozen everything. And then almond milk. One thing I did do was buy a few jugs of the unrefrigerated almond milks. And I just put them in. I also got like coffee creamer, like all like coconut coffee creamer that doesn't need to be refrigerated from coconut milk. Cause oh my God, if I run out of coffee creamer, I'm going to be.
Oh yeah. We were talking about that.
So, cool. Anything else nutrition wise?
Having some staple non-perishable meals like smoothies are fairly non-perishable. I like to do like an oatmeal so that you're not having to worry as much about running out of that stuff. So maybe just a couple of those. Maybe it means rice and beans and salsa or something. So tuna fish, that would be good. So that would be helpful for that.
People rag on canned chicken, but it is delicious. And you get like, it looks just like tuna, and you can make like a really yummy tuna or like a chicken salad out of it. I've done it before and it's really good.
So I have a funny canned chicken story. Actually very appropriate because it happened almost 15 years ago to the day.
Wow.
It was Easter or the day before Easter on the Appalachian Trail. I just know that this is my 15-year anniversary of hiking the AT. And I don't really like canned tuna. So that was always kind of like a thing that Mike and I thought about on the trail because he wanted to add tuna to stuff. And I hate like warmed tuna fish. Like, no, like tuna melt is my worst nightmare. So I thought, like, let's get canned chicken, and it gave me terrible, terrible gas. And
really? Why?
I don't know, but man, he would never let me live that down. And then, so I was feeling gross from that canned chicken. And we were hiking and it was like sleety and gross out. And there were these things called trail angels on the AT. And there are people that just like will cook you food or leave you food or drive you places. And there was this whole setup with like big tents and a big fire. And they like cooked an Easter feast, like in the middle of the woods. So we got to stop and like have all this food. And it was really amazing. And hopefully
God.
Chicken.
Oh, I thought the story was going to end with like, and then you farted in front of everyone and you got kicked out of the Easter dinner.
No, the farting was just like a side thing that happened on the same day.
I can't believe chicken farts are worse than tuna farts. Anyways, we've gotten off track. Thank you though, Jen. That was
way off track. So struggles that Justine and I are both having is screen time. So it's not necessarily exercise or food, but our screen time has increased mucho.
Dramatically.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm finding like trouble focusing because maybe I'm trying to do some work on the computer, but I'm constantly checking my phone. I'm checking Instagram. I'm checking my email. I've got multiple screens open on my computer, so I don't stay focused on the one thing I'm doing. I'm moving back and forth. And it gives you this like kind of like shaky, unsteady energy that I don't really like either, that feeling of it.
Yeah, I definitely feel like way up here when I am doing that. And like Jen was also saying, like one thing we both have in common is like the double screen time, where it's like we've got our computers, even at night when maybe we're like trying to watch Netflix, and then I'll also be like scrolling on my phone, looking at that screen, looking at this screen.
Which I'm doing right now, but only to see if anybody comments, not because like I can't handle not looking at my phone.
Fair enough, Jen. Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know for me, one thing that I've been ignoring because I'm like, oh my God, I don't even want to see this, is like my phone will give me a report every Sunday, or is it Monday? Anyway.
You can look at it anytime in your settings. You can look at
I know, Jen, but I don't want to. But then what I'm saying is that it gives me this report. It's like, oh, you've averaged 6.5 hours a day last week of screen time. So instead of shying away from the reality of that number, I thought maybe this week I could look at the average screen time and see if I can bring it down by like, let's say 30 minutes. Bring it down. Like 30 minutes a day, maybe, to start.
Just
and then
time on your iPad.
But then that's the problem, is then it's like more time on my, but no, I mean, I think it would still be like a really good goal. And the other thing that I have been doing is that I look at all my tabs, and like Facebook, there's no, unless I am specifically posting for like Soul Sisters or something, no reason to have that open. And it has that little like ding, like notification thing. So just Xing out of any tab that I am not currently working on. All my passwords are saved. There's no reason like taking just 1 second to open a new tab if I need to get there, but really just minimizing. Have you ever gone on anyone's computer and they have like so many tabs? It's like little slivers. Oh my God.
That would give me a heart attack.
It makes me so anxious. So I'm really trying to X out of anything I'm not using. Like even Canva, like I'll just keep Canva open on a tab. It's like, no, just get rid of it and just have the tab that you are honestly using. I think it's really helpful.
I'm going to do that more. The one thing I'm doing, so I have an addiction to the Words with Friends and Boggle. Boggle especially is like, I'm such a dork.
No, that's fine.
You're looking at me like you are such a tool. Like you.
No, I'm sure a lot of people are happy to know that because they probably are suffering from the same.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's Candy Crush, whatever it is. So, and I do this thing that maybe for some people it's hard, but it's a little bit easier for me to do, is I just set some boundaries for myself. It is in my calendar. I have like 4 habits for the week, and one of my habits is Boggle and Words with Friends only at lunchtime and after 6. So yeah. And that I got so much done Monday and Tuesday this week by following that simple. And it's not like you can't do this. And I get to enjoy it more because I'm like not rushing between like playing a game of Boggle and sending an email to a client or something like that. So
yeah, I love that. And I think that does kind of segue into a suggestion that I had, which I should follow a little bit better too, which is scheduling out your days. So even if one of the things that people had mentioned was like, some people are working kind of sporadically right now. And I can relate to that because my appointments, it's not like I have like a block of appointments now. It's kind of like I have like appointments here and there all over the day. And then between that, I'm writing and working on programming and things like that. So having like batching out the work, like for instance, I have certain clients that I'm just writing programs for. I don't see them and so having, 2 days out of the week and 1 hour each of those days, I'm checking in with those clients. And scheduling out when you're going to go for a walk, like saying, all right, from here, oh my God, Ruby just looked at me. She's like, what? But scheduling out those time, a time where it's like, okay, I'm breaking here to go for a walk. It's going to take me an hour. And also meals, as much as I do love, I just eat whenever I'm hungry, whatever, it can be helpful. That's not for everyone. Right. Yeah. So if you feel like things are just really hectic throughout your day, or you just feel kind of like not grounded in your day and your activity, schedule out your meals as well and just put it. I mean, I use Google Calendar. I love it because I love color coding everything. And that makes me really happy to see those different colors. So I think that is really helpful. I could be doing a better job of that personally.
Yeah, I'm in like a discovery mode where I'm trying to figure out what time of day I like to do what tasks.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of trying to figure that out because I made an assumption about myself that I don't do work in the afternoon. Like I'm not useful after 2, but like I'm finding sometimes I get a lot done after 2. Sometimes I take a nap and I wake up and I get a lot done because I don't have to go back to the gym, or I don't know. It's just easier for me to get stuff done in the afternoon than it did used to be.
Yep. I totally agree with that. Let's see. I have some notes.
Oh, okay. Oh, we talked about when you're having a struggle, sharing's caring. Yeah.
I mean, I think that whatever it is that is coming up for you, and if it's like, you know, it doesn't have to be around like, I'm not getting enough workouts in, or maybe you're not, but it's like, who cares, right? It's like, it only matters to you if it matters to you. Doesn't, you know, there's no exact right way to be conducting your life right now. But I think it's just whatever is coming up personally, to be able to talk about it, even if it seems strange or like other people aren't going to like be able to relate to it. First of all, it doesn't matter, because people who care about you, whether they can relate to it or not, are still going to be here for you. You know, like there have definitely been times Jen has confided in me and maybe I haven't really been in that exact situation, and vice versa, but it doesn't make me feel like she's not there for me or is not like, you know, holding space for me. So don't hold anything in right now. Like really, especially in this time where stress is high and we're all kind of, you know, forging this new way of life. Have those people make the phone call, send the text, you know, write the email or whatever, but don't hold it in, because it will 100% without fail, will cause you so much more suffering. And like Brene Brown says, shame cannot survive being spoken. So whatever it is that you're, you know, going through, you will feel better expressing it to the right person. So make sure you have that, you know, person.
We have a funny comment. Linda Retchen says, is it okay to binge snack while I'm watching your video?
What is it? Binge snack what? That's the question.
Are you binging on Karen?
Yeah, what are we binging on? That's her whole question. She's hilarious. Her comments always really crack me up.
That's good.
But yeah, I mean, what are some, go ahead, sorry.
Oh, we just came to that because somebody in the comments had mentioned that they were struggling with drinking too much alcohol, and just sharing with a friend helped them kind of like rein it in. And, you know, I check in with her and ask her how she's doing with that. So having an accountability partner can be helpful if you're trying to get into doing some workouts. Maybe it will help motivate you to have somebody be like, hey, did you get your workout in this morning? So accountability.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know, like just as an example, like just like that, eating that frosting, you know, it's like when I was doing that, like I felt really gross about that. Like I really had a lot of like shame around it. But then like by just saying that I did it and like being able to chuckle about it, and also realize it's really just like not that big of a deal. Like while I'm doing it, I'm like, you know, like
everybody knows. Everybody can relate. They're like, yeah, I've eaten that gross thing that was in my house that I just because it was there.
Yeah, totally. So that was a big one. I'm trying to think if I had anything else. Well, as far as, you know, the lack of routine and actually going back to the alcohol thing a little bit, because you know, for me, when I was drinking, a lot of the wine that I had, you know, was that kind of demarcation between like work and now I'm home relaxing and now that people are working from home, there's even less of like a clear marker of like, now work is over and now we are spending time with family or like I'm done with this part of my day. And I think a lot of times people do have a glass of wine or a beer or make a cocktail in order to really send that signal like, okay, now we're relaxing. So if you're finding that that's what you're doing, if you don't have an issue with that, that's totally fine. Like continue to have like, your drink, that's okay. But if you're finding that you're doing that and you're not feeling great about it, like I wasn't into it anymore because I felt like I had to have it. And as someone who, has, been addicted to substances and used to smoke, I am not comfortable with that feeling of like, I feel like it's like a compulsion almost, like I need to do it. So that was something I wasn't really comfortable with, which is why I changed it. So thinking of ways to create that like very clear, signal message in your own mind that like, okay, work is over. Now we're shifting to a different part of the day. What activities can you do besides having a drink that might send that message to yourself? Like going and watching one of our videos, right? Like maybe I'm not kidding though, like, doing a yoga class or like pulling up Jen's HIIT workout with 30 minutes, and like being like, all right, I'm done working. I'm going to throw on my spandex, like do a quick class, even if it's just
You're
half
assuming
a class.
the spandex hasn't been on all day.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Put a jog bra on.
Yeah.
And, or going out for, like throwing the leash on your pup and going out for a walk, like, even if it's not the greatest weather, just get out there, get that fresh air, or making, a mug of tea and having a plan to Zoom with a friend or family member, like, hey, I get done work at 6, like 6:10, I'm going to be Zooming you or FaceTiming you. So just having something to really go from like work to not work, because I know for the first 10 days of this, I just did not have any delineation. So like I would just like work until like 9:30 and then I would be like kind of working, but also like, eating or like watching Netflix, but also still posting.
Oh my God, so
like,
much. Yeah, so crazy.
Too much, right? So it's kind of, ways to really get that message across where we're shifting gears, we're like downshifting into that second part of the evening or day or afternoon where you're not working anymore. It's time to spend time with friends, connect with people, little me time, self-care, exercise, and food and whatever.
Yeah, Sarah Main says that I try to use a workout or run as a signal that my work from home day is ending, so I can move on to the post-workout part of the post-work part of the day. So for her, workouts work. It's all it's the science of habit formation. You have a cue, and once you get that cue, then you follow through in the habit. So you just need to change the cue a little bit to help change the habit. So
yes,
in this case, the cue would be the same, but the day ending, but then the new habit would start instead of the old one. So hopefully eventually you would associate that end of day with the walk or the exercise or the cup of tea. We were also saying like time to actually like snuggle your pet or play with your kid.
With full attention.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like throughout the day, I'm like petting Ruby. I'm like, hi, yes, okay. Like, oh, yes, okay, go out. All right, come in. And like, but like when the day is really over, it's like I like look into her like big brown eyes. There she is. Hi, Ruby.
Oh, that's funny. Ozzy came about just as we were talking about pets.
Oh, that's so sweet. And actually like really look at her and like pet her and like be with her, really be with her though. And so like, if you have kids, it's probably similar, you're working all day. You're like, yeah, okay. Like, all right, here's your snack, or all right, like there, you bumped your toe. All right. But then taking that time to be like now I am like, I'm really with you, and being able to show that true 100% attention. And it feels good. And because I do feel a little guilty about little Rubens.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. Sometimes I just forget Oz over there. I mean, I give him like snuggle bombs throughout the day where I like go over. Just the cutest thing ever.
I know. Oh, I think it like brings down my blood pressure when I do that. Let me go back to my little notes here to see if there's anything else.
Okay, I'm looking through the comments. Linda's eating salty snacks. So me being the savory person, I approve of the salty snack consumption, but Justine's more of a sweets person. So I don't know how she feels about it.
But only during certain times. Like my sweets thing is like, so I started my period Monday. And like, oh my God, my sweet tooth was through the roof Monday and Tuesday. But generally, if I stop eating after 7 p.m., which has been my goal, it hasn't been going that great, that goal particularly, but then I won't really eat a lot of sweets. But it's just at night, like I like to have. But you know what? Binging the Great British Bake Off, I think had a lot to do with that.
Oh, okay. So you're not watching that anymore.
Because they're making these delicious sweets all the time. And you're like, it's like food porn. It makes you want to eat good food.
Big Little Lies is free on Amazon right now. So do it.
Thank you, Jen. Will do. If you take one thing away from this conversation, that's what it should be. Oh my God, that's so funny. Well, I think that I'm about done with all my genius ideas.
Yeah.
Although this has been really helpful to me. I'm going to put some things in place.
Same thing, the sharing the screen time thing. I would see that as probably one of the biggest struggles right now because it's affecting my sleep and my mood. So like that's
what did I say? I said, don't be a scroll troll and just be scrolling.
I want that. Can you record that? And I can like hit a little button that reminds me and like, don't.
Wouldn't that be amazing if I could automatically pop up on your screen like just like, don't be a scroll troll like that.
No, scroll.
Oh, that's hilarious. And then you have to pay the scroll toll. Yeah, and I think I'm really on to something here.
I do. I think you need to make the app.
Oh my God. Okay. I'll put it on the list of all the things. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for joining Jen and I. And if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions on content that you want to see, please post below or message us because this is for you and for us selfishly, but mostly it's for serving you, our amazing followers and supporters. So please tell us what would be helpful for you to hear or learn about or whatever. Jen and I are not opposed to doing research on things.
Oh, no, that's true.
Yeah.
Damn
it. Get out my monocle. Just start reading thesauruses.
Is that how it does research?
Yeah, totally. Anything else, Jen?
No, I think that's good. I think this was great.
All right. Thanks everyone for watching. Bye.